Class 1 Chapter 13, Computer Networks and AMP, Telecommunication for Hospitality. Objectives. After studying this chapter you should be able to, 1. Identify the basic functions of different networks. 2. Understand the basic methods of sharing data resources through networks. 3. Comprehend the functions of business and individual Internet connections. Introduction. A computer network consists of several terminals that are linked together for a common computing purpose. Computer telecommunications is a general category that includes computer communications from remote locations. In most commercial enterprises, individuals work on computers that function as standalone machines used for general-purpose applications such as word processing and spreadsheets. These computers are also part of a computer network consisting of other computers within the organization. Individuals who are able to access the Internet from their work computers are linked via telecommunications to the outside world. Hence, the user works on a computer that is a system within itself and also connects to other computers within and outside the organization, which are larger systems. When a computer is used as part of a system, it becomes a subsystem of that system. The key advantage of networked computers is the ability to share resources. Networking data resources. The software application for managing data resources is called a database. Multiple interconnected databases constitute a database management system, which is managed by a person known as a database administrator. When databases become part of a network, the data resources within them are distributed to multiple users. Hence a network database is referred to as a distributed database, a database that is accessed over a network to more than one user. Most distributed databases work within a network structure, which permits many people within the organization to access most of the available data. For instance, a luxury resort may use a network database to identify multiple factors influencing guest services that may be accessed by a number of operating departments such as engineering, housekeeping and the front office. In essence, a network structure database is one that provides many-to-many interfaces. In most cases, network structure bases are located at the property, whereas other distributed databases exist in remote locations. Large hospitality chains are likely to have centralized databases that contain all the information generated by operational databases at the property level. This type of large database is known as a data warehouse, a centralized group of databases. Because a data warehouse is very large, the information contained in it is divided into topical units called data marts. This permits users to access data by topic, such as guest service standards, marketing analysis, and guest history trends. Since the data warehouse is in a remote location, access from the property level is accomplished through telecommunication networks such as the Internet. The advantage in this type of network lies in the ability to access data mart information from a remote site by using search criteria, a process called data mining, the process of drilling through information contained in a data warehouse to access specific information, and analyze the data immediately, a process known as online analytical processing, OLAP. Data mining and OLAP are useful tools for market analysis and operational strategic planning. Because there is so much additional information available at Internet sites, which exist in hypertext format, many organizations also use networked hypertext databases containing hypertext information from the Internet, to add information to their marketing and other strategic initiatives. Computer networks. As long as the need for digital-analog-digital conversion exists, networks will require the use of telecommunication processors, switches, routers and modems, to link host, server, and user computers. The host computer contains the information that the user is seeking. For instance, the database mainframe computer is the host computer that is linked to a user who is engaged in a marketing research project. The server is the computer that links the user to the host. A network server is the machine that manages the tasks, files, nodes and resources contained in a network. Each network requires a network server, which is a dedicated machine, usually a mid-range computer, for managing the network operations. The network server must be connected to all computers on the network, which are referred to as network nodes, terminals connected to a network. Network connections. Connections must be established among all the nodes and servers in every network. Most small networks use hard wires for connectivity. The most commonly used type of copper wire is twisted pair wiring, which is used for electrical connections and phone wires. Another copper wiring alternative is coaxial cable wire, which is commonly used for cable television hookups. Coaxial cable is designed for video and audio transmission, which means it has a larger bandwidth than the twisted pair wiring that is designed for analog voice transmission. Bandwidth is the range of frequency for the transmission of data and thus determines the maximum transmission speed of data. Transmission speed is measured in bits per second, bps. Finally, there is wiring consisting of glass fiber filaments that are thinner than a human hair. A single cable will consist of millions of these fibers, which can move data at almost the speed of light. These are known as fiber optic wires, which exist on a practically global level thanks to the wiring initiatives sponsored by telecommunications and entertainment corporations. The goal of these initiatives is to provide broadband telecommunication among all nations around the world. Broadband is a term used to describe very high levels of bandwidth with transmission speeds in excess of 256,000 bits per second. Computer networks. Telecommunications media. Telecommunications media consist of satellite media in addition to wired connections. Satellites transmit microwave beams for wireless transmission. Antennas on buildings, towers and mountains carry terrestrial microwaves. Types of satellites. There are three main types of satellites. Traditional geosynchronous satellites operate as relay stations as they orbit the equator at speeds that synchronize their locations with specific geographic areas. 2. Large enterprises use very small aperture technology, VSAT, satellites mounted on buildings to bypass commercial communication channels. 3. Low Earth orbit satellites, LEOs, are much smaller than traditional space orbit satellites, and that permits them to function at lower attitudes to perform channel relay functions for VSAT as well as traditionally wired locations. Cellular phones use radio technologies to communicate between cells located on towers. Personal communication services, PCs, systems are providing digital transmission with greater efficiency and security for cell phone users. Integration of phone and radio technologies is providing multi-use packet radios through cell phone carriers. The cost of wiring buildings for LAN, local area networks, is often prohibitive, and this has caused enterprises to consider wireless LANs that use high frequency, low frequency, and infrared beams. Wi-Fi technology uses wireless microwaves and has been implemented on a large scale in building designed for public accommodation, such as hotels, conference centers and airports etc. An agreement among web providers for a standard called Wireless Application Protocol, WAP, shows promise for combining cell phone and personal assistant technology to produce a new generation of telephony.